Michael J. the Victoria. We're going to bring a new one to you, and it's about Elon Muscolini, a.k.a. Elon Musk, the chainsaw, the cudgel, a.k.a. Doge Emeritus. So, here's the deal. Now, he's talking about Social Security. And this is dangerous. This is why the guy like this should not be near government. How you allow this to happen, that this guy is anywhere near government, is beyond me. Let's go to the main screen. Unbelievable.
The government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
So here we are, Joe Rogan. And his lead-in to this convo with Joe Rogan.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. People working regular jobs. The Social Security is meant to take care of them when they finished work. And this guy calls it a Ponzi scheme. You know, you can continue to rape the land, abuse the people, but you got to take care of your people. And this is why this is dangerous, having a guy like this dealing with government. He's feeding at the government for billions and billions of dollars. Got a lot of government contracts. You got Marjorie Taylor Greene saying civil workers aren't workers. There are pox on, they provide services. They do a lot of things. And people just don't understand that. And this is really tragic, what you've got going on here.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career.
Yeah, well, who takes the money out of Social Security? If it goes in there, why is it not invested for the benefit of the worker to make sure it's there for him when he retires? Simple as that. Like, come on now. This is tragic. This is cruel. And why you allow this to happen. And let's see what the pushback from Mr. Rogan is.
So you're paying you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far.
Yeah, why does it exceed the tax revenue? You got a guy like Trump that claims he was a billionaire. Meanwhile, wouldn't file tax returns so you could see his tax returns. And then he's paying $750 in 1 year for tax. And how much is the average working Joe paying? Many, many times more than that. So this is just unbelievable that you allow this to happen.
Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what.
Okay, so why do you have that debt problem? This is really the question you need to ask yourself. Why do you have that debt problem? And it's pretty friggin' simple. It's because people are feeding off the tax cuts. And who do the tax cuts benefit mostly? The top 1%. The top 1%. Now let's take a look at this. Why are you doing a $4 trillion a year debt limit increase so you can give $4.5 trillion in tax cuts? In order to do those tax cuts, You got to have $2 trillion in spending cuts. And who are the spending cuts coming from? $880 billion from Medicaid. How much from SNAP? So this is why you've got the real problem. The Republicans are just not taking care of their obligations. They just want to buy your vote with tax cuts, but more often than not, it's the rich they're buying the votes with the tax cuts. The rich are benefit by it. You get a small stipend going to the average Joe to keep him bought off, keep him somewhat happy. But here's the thing, like even this series coming up, top 1% are going to have a tax saving of $77,000 based on the last tax cut from Trump and this one here. They want to extend the last one and this one here. The guy that's making $55,000 a year, he's going to pay an extra $1,500. What? Is there something wrong with that? You betcha there's something wrong with that. You got to wake up. You can't, and you're going to have to stop this because they're going to tragically decimate everything, and it's going to take a while to rebuild it. Doesn't happen overnight. It's not as simple as you think. You want change? There's ways of getting change. You know, Bill Clinton, he managed to do a $90 billion surplus, and everything went fine. This guy, how you let him do what he's doing, and then he's got hackers hacking into the system, and you think nothing of it. Like, come on. Let's look at him again. Let's see what he says with Joe Rogan.
What people think it is, because of the future obligations. So, basically, people are living way longer than expected.
Well, that's a good thing. People should be able to live good, long lives.
There are fewer babies being born, so you have more people who are retired and get that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now.
Yeah, and that's why you have immigration, to bring people in to help maintain the extra revenues, because maybe not so many babies are being born. Like, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole any further. You allow this to happen. You've never seen anything like this. And now you're doing tariffs. And the tariffs is just basically extortion. You're doing it to your neighbors. You're doing it to your allies. And you're saddling up and cozying up to Russia. It just brutalizes people. It's unbelievable what you're allowing to happen, and you think nothing of it. So anyways, message, comments, comment section. Sending love and peace to everybody. And everybody take care, and just keep in mind, when things are out of control, just take a few deep breaths and just sleep on it. Love and peace to everyone. Take care. Ciao for now.